Hi all, here we are back at it. As you all know, I'm working on 4 models. I just got 3 boxes in the mail yesterday. This small one, I'm pretty sure it's the R2D2 continuation. Yes it is. We have, let me lay these out. Looks like a pretty detailed month of stuff. A lot of little parts and gadgets. Get this together. So this month we have stage 83 to 80. More body panels, more electronics, some more like tools for R2D2, a little motor it looks like, and another tool compartment right here. So I'm going to set these all up, get ready, and we'll get right into this. Just stand by. All right, so they tell you to grab one of these cables. I'm going to leave this tied up for now. We're going to grab the right sensor, and we're going to insert this cable inside. Okay, then we take the cable assembly and I'm going to attach it to this bracket using 6mm self-tapping screws. Let's get this going. Still not following my own directions of having your screw ready to go. So it goes on just like this. Okay, and now the next one, do the left side. Grab the smaller plug. You got 2 plugs, both 3-pin, but one's bigger than the other. And only the small one fits in here. You have a little aligning slot. They line up right here. And then just gentle pressure, locks in place. And now we're going to take the other mount and install it on here for the left side. It just fits nice and snug. Don't tighten it more than it wants to. You'll know it's tight when it tells you it stops. All right, so now we have the top ring. It's sitting like this per the instructions. Now we are going to start with the left sensor. Look for the one with the L right here. And that attaches to the top ring like so. It fits right into that slot. And once again, using 6mm self-tapping screws. Those are the black ones. The black ones are the self-tapping screws, and they are more than likely going into plastic. And then you have your machine screws, which are the silver ones. You could tell they're machine screws because they have the threads are closer together and there's more of them, and they don't look as rigid as the black ones, and those go into metal. So that's one sensor. Let's get the other sensor ready, the right side. We're going to do the same thing. Flip this back around. This goes right inside here. That lines up right there. You get a better grip on it, because it is kind of a tight fit and it wants to move, but you have to like keep it under control as you're screwing it in. I don't want to bend the wires, lay down the wires. That's why I keep flipping it over. And then the last step in this stage is to take what they call the center stop, which is this piece. Looks identical on both sides. And that goes right over this piece. And you secure it with a flange screw. And see, we're going into metal. Let me back up a little bit. We're going into metal, and inside that hole they already tapped out, and that's why it's a machine screw. They machine the threads here, and that's why it's metal to metal. We have the different screw. We have the machine screw, which is technically a bolt, not a screw. Okay, and that's it for stage 83. The upper ring. Curious how it attaches and where it attaches and what these sensors are for. But we'll maybe get some answers later on. Okay, so much information, just that alone, into the world and workings of Lucasfilms is amazing. So 84, this stage we are, it includes all the parts needed to fit the 2 arms at the top of R2's body. These are motorized, and these parts provided include the motor operating linkages, the mounts that hold them inside the front panel. Okay, first up we're going to take BP50. It's etched inside here. This one is identical, as it, or so it appears, but it's labeled BP51. Okay, so that's for later. And then what we're going to do is take one of the pivots, and it fits inside here like so. It just fits one way. You can see it goes in like that. Okay, and then from this side we're going to install the crank over it like that. Okay, and then flip this around, and we're going to install a screw to hold that together. These are those little doors that, or the upper arms that pop out whenever R2 gets like electrocuted in the movies. It's not going in there, but we're going to make it go in there. There it goes. Okay. It only fits one way because it has all these guide pins that line up, so you know it's on there right. So then next up, that's done. We're going to put that aside. We're going to take the other pivot, and that goes in like so. And then we're going to take the other crank, which is this, and install that like so. We're going to grab one more screw, 6mm self-tapping, install that right on here. And there you have the two arms. Should look like this. It's like in the picture, one like this and one like that. Next up, we're going to build the clutch. So that's this piece. It's got inside teeth, and then we have this piece that fits over it, and it kind of snaps into place. This probably like rotates around. So don't worry too much about its position right now, because it's going to be adjusted later. And then we have the back plate that goes over. Really simple, self-explanatory. Two 6mm self-tapping. Okay, do the other side. This one's a little tight, so make sure you get a good grip with your left hand and just screw until it stops. So there's the clutch assembly. Alright, so now we're going to take our clutch assembly and connect it to the clutch spindle. And you flip it over, you'll see how this fits perfectly lined up with the recessed area of this spindle, just like that. And you secure it with a 6mm self-tapping screw. Don't worry about that. The only thing that concerns me is this clutch. It's geared and everything, but I wish the gears were metal. I can see it wearing out over time. So now I want you to turn this assembly over, and you have what you call pivot pins, and they fit right through here. Push them through. It's a little harder than it looks, because it has to, you know, kind of bend that opening a little. It hurts. Yeah, I should have put these on before I attached this clutch. Time out. Alright, these things are so tiny and slippery because it's like silicone. That's the best way I could figure out. Get my little tiny needle nose pliers and grip that, and then push down. So when you try and push down, I just can't grip this tiny thing to get it through. So now let me reinstall this guy. Hopefully we don't have any further issues. Now we have more leverage, we can just push these on. Make sure those teeth snap in place and it's locked in there. So you have to push it down a little bit to clear here, clear your clutch. So then once you cleared your clutch, you just hold pressure here and you push up with your left thumb and it looks like that. So that's the completed assembly right there. The assembling of the clutch linkage. Maybe it goes like that, something like that. So next up we have the two arms we had from earlier that's going to connect to our clutch linkage. The longer con rod, it's marked with an R, and it's going to go onto the attached to the single crank, whereas the shorter link will attach to the double crank. So next up we have to take what are these guys called again? The pivot pins, and we're going to attach them into here. And once again, they're so slippery, I cannot grip them. There we go. I'm putting enough pressure that it won't move, it won't slip, but I'm not putting enough pressure that I'm crushing the plastic. Okay, now we'll attach. Now I have more grip here. I could attach the arm, and it's in there. It's snapped into place. Okay, now we'll take the other pivot pin. Once again, I'll grab it with my tiny needle nose below the thing. I don't want to crush the top portion. Let's do that again. Let's put this on here. I have to take this out. This actually goes into the crank, and then the crank attaches to the rod. Should have read ahead in the direction. So quick fix. This goes in here. Wow. Can't get my fingers in there. About like this. There we go. Just have to readjust your position. And now this attaches to the rod. Okay, we are attached. So we got two arms and the clutch assembly attached. Okay, so now we have this all together. We are going to fit these arms into the front panel of R2D2. And how we do that is like this. The arms, and start feeding them through. You gotta use like your third hand here. Start feeding these through. And then remember the pivot assemblies we installed at the very beginning. They are gonna go into these notches here. See how they fit into the notches? And that way, when they close, it's nice and flush. So now all it's left to do is attach these covers so they don't come off. Okay, that fits nice and snug in place there. We're gonna use 4 6mm self-tapping. And we take one more cover. Oops. Goes around this way. You have a screw. Use your ambidextrousness. Grab that screw, get it started, and then screw it in. This doesn't work without magnetic tip screwdrivers. I feel like I need the longer screwdriver. Just can't get a good grip on the tiny ones. Okay, so I just summarized 9 steps real quick. So there you have it. You have your clutch assembly we assembled. These arms are attached. They're nice and flush. And I'm sure somehow this clutch is gonna activate to open the arms. But we'll see how that works later when we get to it. Okay, next up, all right, so the last step in stage 80 4 is to put the motor together. Okay, and we have these 2 itty bitty countersunk screws that we're going to attach the motor to its case, and then this motor is going to fit into the clutch. Then as the motor spins, it will open those arms on the front panel of R2D2. And make sure this has to line it up good. Don't tighten it all the way until you get the screws installed. So you can see I just had an issue, it wouldn't line up. Let's try this again. I got it in there right according to that picture. It goes in that way where it has these brass windings on the upside. This up, this has an arrow in it right here. And that's going to face the shaft of the motor. Okay. It snaps into place nicely. And you're going to secure the case together in the middle hole. Okay, and then next up we have to install this motor onto the clutch assembly. So it looks like that. Here's your motor. So now they say make sure that the clutch is seated on this bracket. So we got this clutch right here, and then you insert the shaft, spin it a little bit so that way it turns. Just spin it a little more, and then fit this motor onto the posts. Secure it with some 6mm self-tapping screws. And you know you have it done right is the position of this clutch assembly with the arms. When it's in this position, the arms are closed. So now let's just attach. Let's get 3 more here. 2, 3. That should do it for this stage. We're on to stage 85. 85 and 86 to go. Alrighty, so we got all of this installed. We had 2 extra pivot pins. You know, Fanhome's always good at that, giving you extra stuff in case you drop something on the floor, you lose it, something breaks, you still have another piece there. Just doing final torque check. And there you have it. Alright, so the finished assembly looks like this. We have the front panel, R2D2. That's compartments that open up. Of course, we have the so this is how it won't go out any further without the motor turning the clutch assembly. And then inside here, what am I missing?
Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. Is that the right button?
Yeah, it's the button, but I think I don't have something connected here. Yeah, put it there. The motor, put in the socket M. Yeah, I got that in socket M. That all the way down. Okay, step 3, press button S2 to open the arms, S2 to close them. I wonder if I don't have to have these. No.
Is your little tester on? That switch? Oh yeah, the red light's on. Maybe switch the plugs?
Alright, we're back. Got it. I had these 2 wires switched, so now you can watch these doors work. Let's turn the power on. Okay, the arms should come out here. And you press the switch, test switch, and then the other switch retracts them.
Dope, that's cool.
And you see there's no more slack. So now the motor is holding them flush. And so when R2 is, I guess, fixes something or whatever, he pulls these arms out and then brings them back. And there you have it. All right, so next I'm going to get stage 85 or 85 together, and we'll continue on. All right, welcome back. We got those arms tested for the body panel, and now we're on to stage 85. This one has a lot of info in the magazine. It's got that, opens up with that iconic photo of Anakin as a kid with the shadow of Darth Vader. That was so cool. Very unique. And then just a lot of info on episode 1 and other info going through. Talk about more about R2D2, the Astromech, part 7. And then it brings us up today into modern day science fiction with NASA and its robots. And we're going to continue. So each and every issue from here on out, I got like 14 stages left. It's just like bringing everything together. This issue we have tons and tons of screws, and we have another body panel, and this should be the very last one before we put all of it together. For my count, this makes 1, 2, 3, 5 panels to make R2's body. And then we are going to finally finish putting together the inner body frame. So the pieces we were working on earlier, the top ring, and then these pieces we got a few issues ago, is all going to come together and connect to the frame on this issue. So first up we have the details for this body panel. Just go together like this, and we're going to install them like so on here. And we're going to 4mm self-tapping screws. We've been using those 6mm like crazy. So now we got some 4mm. Looks like these. And we're going to connect them. Come on, finger. Okay, we have one more detail. So we have this piece, nice detail. So then next up we have this piece gets down like this, and then up like this. There we go, fits right into place. And then we attach it here like this. Kind of slides in on an angle, and we need also 4mm screws. Let's see, yeah, 4 of them. Take them out right here. That's 4. Let's get this going, and the last one right here. So that finishes off this assembly. And of course you have this armpit area, and it fits flush right here. Fits a little bit snug, and there you go, that's completed. All right, next up we have the frame assembly. Okay, this is a little bit of a backtrack from stage 83, which I didn't finish because I wanted to do it together on this stage. So I have the finish up of 83 and then the finish up of 85 to finish up this frame. So what we're going to do is take the top ring with the sensors. The sensors attach right here, and then the rest of the frame attaches to the 2 arm sections here. And you just put everything on top. There's some locator holes here. Make sure you line those up. And then, line up those locator holes. Just like that. Okay, and we are going to secure them with full machine screws. And 1 8mm screw for this post here. So I'll have to tilt this a little bit so you guys can get a better view. I got some stuff started so that way it won't fall out. I haven't even opened up any of these bags that came with stage 85. So many extra screws, it's crazy, but appreciative. That's pretty good. Okay, and the last one is this long 8mm screw. I'm just gonna run that down. It's a lot easier to screw than the self-tappings. These are all machine screws. Do a final torque check. If it won't go, don't try and force it. And there you have. All right, before we go any further, there's one little test we have to do. We have to test these sensors on the rotating. What do they want? These are the rotating sensors. So I guess this frame turns. You know, R2 turns its body. Oh no, for the head, the dome. When the dome turns, I guess you want to limit the distance it turns so you don't break it. So So I'm going to kill this. Okay, so you can see I have a red and green light, and then we're going to take an object, an opaque object they said, and we're going to put it inside the sensor here. Let's try something like let's try this. And they said the green light should go out, and there it goes, green light out. Are you seeing this? See the green light right there? Green and red. Okay, now we'll flip over and do the right side. All right, let's test the right side. Turn our power source on. We have two lights right here. Okay, and then we block the sensor. And the green light should go out. All right, my sensors are working. Awesome. So now let's finish the frame assembly. All right, y'all, last thing I got to do is install the shoulder joints. Let's finish this up and get this finished. So we have 4 posts that have to line up, and it kind of fits on an angle here, just like that. And we're going to flip this around, and we're going to install these 8mm screws with these lock washers. We're going to line this up one more time, get this going. I'm going to do the other shoulder. All right, here I'm screwing in the last one for the right shoulder. It is such a tight fit. It's probably about another 10 minutes off camera, off recording. And so that finishes the frame. And I have one more stage left. I know this video is getting kind of long, but we got stage 86 to do still. Okay, here's a preview of stage 86. Looks like this. Moving swiftly along. Now Lucas building a galaxy has some info. It looks like Queen Amidala. More info about Astromechs Part 8. And let's get into this. We're completing the last tool compartment. And let's get everything set up. Alright, so we're going to be assembling one of the tool arms here. Just like we did a few issues ago with the other arms we did for the other tool compartment. So we're going to take the interface base onto the mount, looks like so. We're going to take this piece, slide it over, kind of fits snugly in there. Oh, this is the piece that goes into the machines and he spins, I think. Okay, all right, now we're going to take this and glue it together here. So let me get out my glue. I have to glue this piece too. This fits on. Okay, we need a dab of glue. There's very minimum gluing in this model. Okay, another dab of glue. We are going to put that around here. This goes on like that. Okay, and then glue this piece. It's fitted like so, it's D-shaped. And the tube arm, okay, it's right here. Let's get another dab. This goes on here like this. Okay, and then we take the pivot. Get the pivot between it to the, and that looks like the same. So we're going to put that in here. And then we're going to put this screw through here. And we are going to attach this nut. Oh, let's put the nut first. That fits into the groove so it doesn't spin. And we are going to take the screw, put it in, and tighten it down, holding the nut in place, and this arm should pivot. Okay, and that's our completed assembly. All right, next up, we are going to take our compartment and the piece we just installed, and it's going to fit right in here. And we're going to secure it with one 6mm self-tapping screw. Okay, nice and snug. And all we got to do is fold it down into the compartment like so. And that completes that. Next up, we're going to take the door and attach these hinges using the 11mm screws. Product for the door. Door opens up, revealing the tool. Okay, next up. Alright, next up we're going to fit the compartment to the panel from the last stage. So you put the door through first, okay, and then you line up all the posts. And we have 5 6mm self-tapping screws. Alrighty, for this panel and compartment, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th screw right here. Let's get that installed. Okay, nice and snug. And our finished product looks like this. Door opens to reveal another one of the tools, and then it closes back up. Alright, so now all that's left is connecting these panel connectors, the joiners, together onto the panel so that this panel could fit onto the next panel, the next panel, onto the next panel, and so on. And we'll secure those with the 3 6mm self-tapping screws. So we'll get this one on first. Goes right in there. Okay, and the last one down here at the bottom. Just make sure, follow the instructions, and you point the arrows where it tells you to point the arrows. So like the arrow is pointing this way, but the top one, it has to point that way. And that's what the instructions will tell you. Okay, so we got all of those. And now we are going to join 3 panels together. So we have that center panel we worked on earlier with the motor. And we have this panel a couple of stages ago, maybe last month or. And self-explanatory, these are posts. And they all get secured with 6mm self-tapping screws. We get 1 or 2 going here. That way it stays all together. Doesn't fall apart on me. Then I'll finish this up here for you. Okay, last screw here. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is number 7 to join these 3 panels together. And then these 3 is 1/2 of the body, which will get joined to the other half, which is an additional 3 panels. And that is your so I just kind of jumped ahead and did everything the instructions is telling me to do. Join only the bottom. Once again, that side, and here is our completed assembly. Looks like this. And we have several doors that open, revealing all of R2's tools. This door opens. This is the one we just did. We got some other tools here. We got another panel that opens, revealing some more detail. And that panel opens. Alrighty, so hopefully next month we are going to take this half and join it with the back half of R2. Then, in the later stages, the panels will go over the frame. So these 2 should join together, something like that. Thank you guys for watching. So all of this, and we're getting so much closer. And here's the body frame. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next month.